Got anything on XO today?
Kim says good luck with that. What's going on, Kim?
First in. She was waiting. I had to go buy a new set of headphones and microphone tomorrow. I've got this fucking Bluetooth speaker that's, excuse my language. I feel like it just, I don't know, the quality's not great.
Why are you always waiting on CVO? Yeah, I'm always doing my hair. Come on. Tar Heel, what's going on, buddy?
As far as we know, you're the only one with hair. You know, we don't know that Max actually has hair. So
I've seen Max's hair. It's pretty good, actually.
Oh my god! Do you want me to tell you a secret?
Yes.
I'm getting a buzz cut this weekend.
oh man, do you have a lumpy head or no? Or do you know?
Nah, I don't know. I'm just gonna fucking. Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see how that turns out.
I've got a wedding in like 4 months. I've got to go to. So I've asked my barber. He's like, your hair will grow back to what it is now in 3 months. If you don't like it, you've got time. So I'm just gonna do it during the heat during the summer. I thought, you know what, why not? I've had the same haircut now for probably about 6 or 7 years, so a little change up.
Nice. That'd be quite the change up.
Yeah, but I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm just going to turn up to wherever I go.
start rocking some LC hats.
Yeah, legit.
I do need to order one of those. I've been thinking about that, getting some LC gear just to wear, because I'm a hat guy. You know, it's what us bald dudes wear. So I'll probably invest in some leading crypto hats.
I'm trying to save the hair as long as I can.
Oh man, you're in cryptocurrency. It's not long for this world.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Unless you're
if you're young.
If you're in Luna anyway, you know, that might be the case.
Yeah. Luna would have given people the first grades for sure.
Oh man. Been a while since I've seen one of those.
I was trying to explain to my dad what that was, because he was like, "Are they trying to regulate the markets or something? Is that why that happened?" I'm like, "No, it was just what's called a Ponzi scheme."
I reckon they will now, though. Do you not?
No, they're going to use that. They'll use that as an excuse for sure. Why wouldn't you? You know, that, in my opinion, if there ever was a reason to do it, they just gave them the smoking gun, so to speak, to be like, hey, we got to get our hands in here. And that could be really bad for exchanges. You know, there's a lot of people talking about getting their stuff off exchanges. You guys know my opinion on that, definitely. And so if exchanges start going belly up and people are withdrawing at the same time, which they should be anyway, it could be a very interesting time in the next couple months to year. But we'll see how things shape up. It doesn't really matter. We're going to trade the chart. So,
yeah. I saw something about Coinbase going.
Oh, dude, they're getting beat down hard. Well, people don't like Coinbase.
And keeping people's money. They're on their exchanges.
Well, I understand all exchanges can do that. If an exchange goes bankrupt and your money's on there, that's tough cookies, man. You might get it, you might not. Like, that's it.
Fortunately, Bybit's balling.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. You know, you got to think about you probably weren't around, but me and Paul both were for like Cryptopia, Mt. Gox. That's an old school one there, but those exchanges did. They I think they were hacks, but well, Cryptopia wasn't. They just disappeared, didn't they?
Yeah, they just shut. They didn't just. I mean, they just regularly just shut down.
Yeah, liquidated. He faked his death, I think, is what everybody suspects, and then made off with all the money.
Yeah.
But the thing, if something happens to that exchange and your funds are on there, I mean,
we have some bearish divergence here. We have some bearish divergence if anyone's spotted it.
I was getting ready to look because this is what I wanted, was to come up here and see if there was going to be a short available, and if there is,
Yeah.
I'd like to take it.
Well, I reckon lose the VWAP in the daily open. That's when, that's probably when I'll
Well,
enter.
Yeah, the setup actually plays out.
Yeah.
I got to buy
You can be a bit more
a
risky
new
and
cord
take
for my
the,
computer tomorrow now because he's.
Dude, you and your dog talk.
No, man, he's about to have like the worst
T-Bone's
next
posted already.
couple weeks of his life. His short little life. He's gonna end up in a shelter for all I care.
T-Bone
this
said he
point.
posted the Bears divergence.
Yeah, I've just spotted it. I've just gone into the chat.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can put them longs under some pressure. Like losing the VWAP, losing the daily open, that'd be when I'd say, okay, there's like a considerable amount.
Put them underwater, man.
Yeah, give us a one sec. Uno momento.
He's gonna give it a browse.
Yeah,
let's give it a browse.
Come have a look with me.
Why is your name MagX?
I think he misspelled it. He forgot to get the G out there when he put it in.
Oh my God. See, I told you, I was literally just waking up. I slept through my alarm and it kept going off because my hand was on my phone. It's only because my dog started barking that I woke up. So very lucky I'm actually here. I'm awful sleep. So where do the longs come in? So you can thank my dog for barking. I was actually I just going to give him a kiss a minute ago because I wouldn't have been here otherwise.
You guys are crazy with these dogs, man.
Mate, my dog's an absolute legend.
I don't think he caught my comment. I'm gonna leave that one. Anyway, I guess we could we'll go ahead and talk about this. I'm gonna I don't know what's going on. Max, are you sharing your screen or you want me to? Yeah, it looks like you're
so there's currently some longs underwater already. You can see them at the top here, even in this red candle where positive open interest. The candle actually ends red. So someone's really sat here with a limit order holding us down. A lot of longs entered here, somewhat underwater already. But yeah, losing the VWAP would be probably a good sign to maybe stop playing that absorption. I always like playing the VWAP anyway, so we lose that. It's could be the 80-20 that gets played out, but let's see. It might be a bit too early to say because you've always got that daily open now as support, so we'll see.
It's a pretty big Dalton today, isn't it? Because you got to think.
The previous day values at 26586. Jeez.
You have 586. I have 26604.
What are you on?
I was on the one tick.
Yeah, but
XO, not ATAS.
I have 26586. One tick. Check again. Check your tick size again.
I got tick size. I have what you have now on 69 tick size.
Well, you're cool. No, I definitely have 26586. I've even just reloaded it. Yeah, that's what I've got. The previous day low is down there at 25222, but let's see.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at this point. If we get that low, it's a really nice trade either way. But it's just so big, and I guarantee people are still selling down here.
Well, I mean, right now there's clearly someone sat in a limit.
Yeah.
So whether they're just trying to defend the 30K position. So,
all right. Well, I'm gonna take over. Yeah, I'll take over, and we'll get a rolling here. So kind of a little impromptu in the beginning here, so hopefully you guys don't mind.
Yeah, it's just
little trade setup if it comes.
This is what we gotta listen to every day when Max wakes up, him kissing his dog and Magic, his dog too.
Killing his dog.
We're not friends. I don't know who told you that, but like me and my dog are not friends. Anyways, on to more important matters here. We have some levels to talk about. So I'm going to actually go over to my day trading and scalping chart and clean it up a little bit, obviously. We'll get rid of the VWAPs and stuff. just not necessary. And we'll get rid of the previous day stuff, also not necessary. And we can get rid of the sessions, and PVAs can go. Right, so nice clean chart for everybody. Okay, so you've got a daily level here that was support prior, right? 29,775. You can see you're trying to put in some bullish market structure here. You just haven't made a new high, so do be aware that if you take the highs, watch for swing failure patterns. I know this looks like an inverse head and shoulders. So the idea behind this is we want to see this coming up to this 31,000 to 31,200 level. That doesn't necessarily change anything with the analysis. Really need to get back above 31,773 still, right? So that realistically, we're still looking at the same levels. I know nobody likes to hear that, but you can see why. You've just got a really nice high volume node here coming in that region. It's the point of control of the range. You could zoom out a little bit even if you wanted to. Come over here, and I'll get rid of this range here in a second, but it's just so clean, so nice. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But we look at our developing range, and what you can see is, again, same point of control as weekly, but a little more emphasized on. You can see that this really is just the region of the chart that has to get claimed. So claim the daily here at 31,004. Realistically, still need to get back above that. We'll just call it $32,000 just to kind of round it out, right? That would be the idea. You get above that, you're living above the POC. We can then challenge into range highs potentially and really kind of damage anyone that was selling down in this region, because this is the bottom of our prior range, if you guys recall. So again, historical ranges. I can tell you with almost 100% certainty, nobody tracks this specific range, these types of ranges, and nobody had this NPOC on their chart. So something that I do, and it's really panned out. Now, in terms of the actual area that we're into, we're going to talk about more of the macro here real quick. So we know locally what we're looking for. I will say this: if we get a move to the downside, we are looking for something along this lines here. Okay, so if we lose the VWAP, as Max was just stating, putting those longs underwater, if that guy with his limit order there gets what he wants, we get to trade this back down. You do have a nice PVA backfill as well down here at the Val near the low, and at that point, I would just be targeting the remainder of our gap fill, which it does come in here. If you guys recall from the member stream last night, I mentioned this gap, and I said, we don't have to fill this entire gap. We know that. It just needs to come down and really fill most of it. Gaps don't have to fill all the way. I know people don't like to hear that. That depends on how you learn to trade gaps. But again, right here is a perfect example. Okay, you had a gap. This is a gap fill, right? So keep that in mind. The area that we're at on the chart, when I made that chart back in December, this is the chart that was made. We had two possibilities. I'll run through them real quick. We had a doomsday, right? So we had this guy. What was the stipulations of this making another rotation of the range and getting upside? Well, the timing was right, but we did not get back above. In this case, I just had the time point of control and overall point of control of the range chilling right here, and it did exactly what it was supposed to. Or you could have looked at this as the level that I gave, 47,707. Never cracked above that. Price rejected off of it. So you had to be looking at this as, how low are we going once we start losing key levels on the charts, specifically that like 37.7 area. You were looking down to fill out these the alternative setup, which was right here. This was your setup. So this was the original chart that was made. The timing on it could not be more perfect. We have fib time today. Technically, it's May 13th. This is the 1-to-1 for me. So today is a really big day for price. But this was the original box, really nicely held. What did we say? If we lose this box, we're going to fill out this box. We have done so. Okay, so we've done what we expected. We did front run the 1-to-1, which happens more often than you think. That's why I always put the 886 here. And we did so with perfect timing. The distribution of our prior pattern is displayed here. Okay, so this was the appreciation in price, the pattern that played out harmonic wise, and then it did roll into this. Now, if we lose this box, we do have targets below us. I do believe you will see the 20,600 to 19,228 region, and we'll talk about that a little more here in just a second. But for right now, locally, it makes more sense for me this to be at least a local bottom for the immediate short term, in the sense that, this is where the area I said I would start dollar cost averaging fairly heavily. If you guys remember right here, I kept saying I'm not all in. I'm only interested in putting some skin in the game. You cannot sell here because it's support, but you will buy some and we can trade it up. And if we get above $47,000, we can ladder in on the strength. And we knew we had targets up to 56,944. And then we're looking for 58,822, et cetera, et cetera. In this case, though, you got the rejection here, and now we are living here. So this should be familiar territory that we've talked about in the past. The question is, are you going to watch and get distracted by things like Luna, or are you going to put a little skin in the game? As I have been buying spot Bitcoin, there's no reason to put on leverage positions yet, but I've been buying things like I say, if you have predetermined buy areas that you're willing to dollar cost average into and hold no matter what the price happens to Bitcoin. In my case, I don't really care if it goes below this box because the Bitcoin that I've bought, I can just put into a short position or a hedge, a 1x short, and it's fine. That would be how I do things. It may not be how you do things, though. So for me, I am watching this area pretty intently. If we do take the lows again, I'm looking for this 1-to-1 right here at 24,239. Anything below that, and we will probably take it down to this high time frame key level at a minimum here at 20,688.50. And I think I got a little box for it. There we go, right there. That does coincide with a pattern I'm going to have to cover again. This is a pattern that I covered. The videos are still out there on my public TikTok, actually. This is a large, deep crab in log scale. And this was my notes for this. So I never delete the chart because it's such a macro pattern that we never technically invalidated it. This right here doesn't invalidate it because this can actually go to the 2.224 right here. And you'll notice that's what it did almost to the T, right? So if we take a look at this expansion, the D leg, right? We show the 2.224 right here. Let's see if I can put the prices on. There we go. 68,055, and we hit 69,000. So pretty close. That would probably be within 69,000 flat actually on Bitstamp. So it's very well within the context of what you could allow for that being the expansion there between like a 1618 and 2.24. This isn't too far off, and the back test is really nice. So I do need to work out the timing on this a little bit. Play with these legs as this has changed. Move this over a little bit. Get a little bit different values for these, and then start working it out. Because as of right now, we could probably move this guy over actually, and we could start playing with the fibs a little more, right? There's that one. And I think, this would be fine. It puts you right around 21,149 is what you'd be looking for. And your golden pocket is being struck as of right now. So your overall golden pocket in linear scale, you've gone all the way down. If you go to log scale, if we lose the area that we're in, we are heading down. Where is the area on the chart that we need to regain? 31,824. That should look fairly familiar if we scroll back to Bybit. And we talk about the weekly that we were looking at 31,773, right? It's just showing us that if we're looking for that strength, right, or we're looking for a sign of strength for like any kind of a change, we are looking for, where did I put that weekly? There it is, right there. We are looking for this to get regained on any kind of a level here. 31,773 is where you want to be at. So let me get rid of this right now. So this is the area on the chart that I'd want to get out of. Coincides with, again, high volume node. Coincides with Fibonacci based on the pattern that we were looking at of the overall macro. When do we evaluate and invalidate market structure? Right here, you could start to move the bar down, saying, well, you got to get back above 40K no matter what to really start doing any damage. But locally, for at least a relief rally up into like the $35,000 region, potentially 34 to 35. You got to flip the weekly, one step at a time. And this daily is going to front run it a little bit here, obviously. But that's where you're at. you'll hear me say you can't sell down here, but you really have to be looking at this in terms of like opportunity, and have a plan. When we put these boxes on the charts and you're given dates, right? We're giving you dates. I'm giving you prices, and this is what they look like. Because this low came in 2 days before I said to start looking for the low. I said the low would come in on the 26th to February 8th. It came in on January 24th at macro support. We have to be looking to buy this one. This was a pretty tricky low, but it did provide a low. And then we did get the move up. That was really nice. And we knew we were looking for 47,707. And then we were looking for potential shorts and will we hold support? Support was a support until we lost the 3M, which was right here. Right, so this is where things start to get a little different. You lost 44,800, right, and which was a value area high from prior sessions, and you traded this range down. What happens when you lose the range? Well, nothing good. So to get back above the 31,773 or just 32K level would be kind of it'd be a little bit of a small victory. It would put you back into this box potentially. And working through these levels. And you can see this box right here, which was prior support, does end at the trend-based golden pocket at 34,900, which comes in again at your key levels. And this is a lot of this is repetitive from this morning, actually, but it's really important just to kind of go back over it and talk about why these levels are so important, because the analysis isn't going to change in a few hours, especially if you're working with good analysis over high time frames. But you should be working off of 35,027, also going to be your local gap, right? So that is all if a bounce gets underway. Again, you do have the setup that if it fails here, or swing fails even, we have the setup that we could go lower. As Max was saying, he wouldn't take the trade until confirmed, which means losing the VWAP or the daily open. And I tend to agree with him, especially in this area of the chart. Looking for shorts right here is just kind of a risky business. The risk to reward's not nearly as great unless you have a confirmed setup, which the setup is there. The question is, will it get triggered? And even then, it's only got a 75% win rate, which is still fairly high, at least to the previous day point of control. But in this case, you still have that chance that you could lose 25% of that trade. So for me, I am looking at this as potentially, for at least the immediate short term, some kind of a low. Will it be an overall reversal of the market? Nobody knows. I don't think that's the case as of right now. I have no reason to think that until we do something more material and regain some of these boxes or levels. If you extended this over, you can see what I mean. But yeah, that's all I've got, man. 1-to-1 fib time today, guys. So, I have another one for the 16th. I've said this is just kind of a region in mid-May. I would, look for volatility, but take in the information and understand what we've done here on the way down, and just kind of make a good decision, I guess is what I'll say. Is like make an educated decision. Do you think this is a good place to sell your cryptocurrency, or do you think this is a good place for you to maybe even sit it out and wait? Because even if this thing V bottoms out of here, right, a V bottom straight out, the odds of not making a higher low are pretty low. Eventually you're going to make a higher low, and it's going to give you some strength. Like, okay, the trend is starting to change a little bit, and I can look to get in on one of those if you're not comfortable. Just like right here, boom, right, higher low, up into here until where? Then market structure starts to change right here. You've taken these lows, you can't make a higher high. What happens? You sell off, right? So I would just say stay patient if you're not confident. If this is something you already had planned on adding to your portfolio, if you got the opportunity down here, I would go for it. One thing I will note is that I'm going to switch this up to the weekly for just a second before I'm finish up, is that I covered this on November 28th. And that's not me just saying like, hey, I covered this, like, look at me. The reason I say that is you have to have a plan for when you get down here. And the plan was, if we got down this low, these lows right here, I had mentioned that you can take the lows and the chart is fine, which is I do hold as true, and that this was part of the target. Now, that's only predicated on if you start getting back above, 32K, which you haven't lived below. And then what can you, surmise, so to speak, if we get back above 32K, right? Because you can see we've done it on a daily, and we've had these deviations. Where was the last major pivot on the daily in terms of price? We could say 35K, or we could look for the last actual breakdown, which was a swing failure pattern, which I'm pretty high on this level at 36,270. This was the level. You can see how many times it was support, never closing below until here, right? So we go back to the weekly. Let's see if that level is material. And you'll notice it's actually your last weekly level as well. So for me, if I was being ultra conservative and you didn't want to buy now, you would literally be waiting all the way to here before you actually made a decision to get in the market. So you'd have to be pretty patient, right? And that's why they say trading is so hard, is because people aren't patient. If you're more of a risk-on trader, which obviously I am and others are, we're looking at the first sign of strength is here, which because at a minimum, I wouldn't say you should have expectations, but the thought process is if you get back above this level, well, you're probably going up to challenge these levels here, right? And you're getting a nice trade of maybe 14%. And if it doesn't get that high and only gets 35K, it's like 9%, right? And that's pretty juicy as a trader. Can it fail there? Absolutely. It could just roll over and then, go to 20K and anything can happen. But this channel is about trading and taking good trades. So just trying to set you guys up for some kind of success. Looks like we're going to come into the daily here and see if we take these highs. I would just mark them off and, have them there. Obviously you have the highs here you've already taken. So printing a PVA while you do it, not always a good sign, but that is all I've got, because the rest of it's just going to be local price action stuff. Kind of my synopsis. Let me make sure there's no questions from the gallery here. Nope. Looks like pretty standard stuff. Max, CVO, which one of you guys want to hop on here, since I don't see any questions?
Max, we can put you on if you're ready.
So I was muted and just updating some naked point controls. Got to get your time into update levels. I was just watching the. I can actually click on my thing here. So we took the high. That's why, when you're trading, divergence is really important to, especially when you're trading CVD divergence, which, it is absorption. What you're looking for is the traders that have created the absorption, because obviously to create the absorption, they have to be the market buys entering the market, and someone is on the other end of that holding them down with limit. We have to see the people in the, that have caused it in their market buys, which were, let's have a look at it in this candle, arguably, this candle, this one, and the one at the top. Unless you see them people get put under pressure and put under water so they start to sweat, really the absorption hasn't been confirmed. And with the VWAP here, I don't know when you're actually pointing it out, T-Bone, but as soon as you start to move away from the price, yes, you have got some longs up here put under pressure, but you've got the VWAP there. And then once you if we actually lost the VWAP, that would have really put everyone that had created the divergence underwater. It's why it's so key sometimes to wait for the confirmation that this is the way that the price is going to go, because it is always leading until you put those longs that have caused it underwater. So it's so important to do so sometimes. Obviously you can, as soon as you see these longs get put underwater, enter a trade. You've got a selling imbalance there, and then where do you take profit when you've done that? You've taken a riskier trade. Your first take profit is the first line of support, always, if you're taking a riskier trade. VWAP right there. So it was a $200 move in this area. Very easy to cover the market fee. I think the market fee right now is like $40-something if you're trading with the whole Bitcoin. So, $160. It's not bad for 5 a.m. in the morning. but yeah, that would be where you take your first take profit. You can always, once lost the VWAP, if you have entered up here, compound on that trade, compound on the profits that you've taken. If you come down, you retest it, and then you really go down, because then obviously once you lose the daily open, the chances that we start the Daltons at 80-20 and maybe test where's the give me 1 second. We have a look at this. So let me get rid of that and that. I don't know what they are. You've got the pivot down here. Now we know from the statistical data that we have what the hit rate of the pivot is, and we also know the hit rate of the pivot at the first 12 hours of the trading session up to that New York Open. We know that. So chances are, if we were to lose the day open now, probabilities are that you would go down and test that pivot at least, which at 28k, where does that line up with if we have a look on here? So yeah, you're well in, you're at the previous day VWAP close, you're well in the value area for the previous day, which it would, if you're that far into it, I'd say you probably got acceptance by then. Even if it's in one candle, you'd probably got acceptance by then. I've also just spotted here, we're also hitting the absolute legend of an EMA. I don't know why I'm on the 1 minute chart. I think I was showing something yesterday, but yeah, just about tapped that legendary EMA that is. But yeah, that's actually what I've got for now in terms of, that was the divergence that we had, and it didn't play out. It is what it is. It is leading until it's not. You have to put them longs underwater. It's the important thing. Actually, the previous day high as well. So yeah, we've rejected from the 310 EMA on the 50-minute time frame, to be expected on the first touch. Like, this thing is absolute. It's an absolute beast. I'm going to show you all. If I'm not, there we are. It's got on a 4-hour time frame, so it's always fixed to the 15-minute time frame. But it's just, I know Magic will say you can't trade it this way, but like, it's an absolute beast. Bouncing between it there, stuck on it there.
Do you know how you're supposed to trade a moving average? Yeah,
I'll
tell you.
Take profit. You're supposed to take profits out. You're not supposed to trade it like a VWAP.
Well, sort of, but like you can also use it another way. So this is something we haven't discussed, but notice that when you're chopping around it, so go back to the right a little bit, scroll back where you were. You were see how it's chopping around, yeah. So when you get something where it's chopping around like that, what you can surmise from something like that is that you have consolidation going on. Now notice how the direction of it changes when it starts to trend. So you're actually looking for the slope. Once the slope changes, you know that you're about to trend harder, because it is an average and it's just getting the average of price. So when it starts to trend, the slope of the EMA will actually change. So when you start to see high time frame EMAs slopes change, like a weekly or a monthly, it's much more indicative of an overall market trend. So that's how you're technically supposed to use them, or one of the ways that you can use them, other than mean reversion. Yours just happens to coincide with the 4-hour 21 almost.
That's it then. That's the 4-hour 21
yeah.
then. That's what I worked out as on the 15-minute chart, because I didn't like on the 4-hour how it was always lagging on the 15-minute price time frame. So yeah, it's the 4-hour 21.
It's basically the 4-hour 21. It's just you've got it fixed to a 15-minute candle split.
Yeah,
so
that's it. That's what you told me, because you were the one that put me onto this, and then I worked out on the 15-minute. It's absolute gold.
Yeah. Otherwise, I won't interrupt. But yeah, no, it is good to have on your 15 if you're trading with it.
I mean, look at that. Tell me it's not. Tell me you can't trade that. Oh, I love it. It's so good though. Honestly, it offers so many bounces. I made so much money from it. I actually love it. But yeah, I actually haven't got too much. Let's have a look at what's going on in the immediate here. I'm losing all my charts. There we are. Yeah, so you've come up. You've had a load of trades enter here. Look at that huge amount of trades entering these last 5-minute candles here. I don't know why I've not got it almost
took the high. It missed the high by like $22.
What, the previous day high?
It was the high I was watching was over to the left. It was 30,122. It may have been the previous day high. I didn't check. But
this one here.
It's back testing the daily at 29,775 right now. I imagine we might see the VWAP though, since it printed a PVA there at the top.
Yeah. So you got a red PVA going up and a green PVA going up, followed by a red one. Normally a signal of, I don't know whether you guys spotted the alert that I had come up, but that's normally a signal of a reversal, even if it is on the 5-minute time frame. Normally does signal to us, you might get a little reversal in the immediate, especially when it bounces at such a key point like that EMA. For me, it's short. But where do you put your stop loss? Well, you'd probably put it just either above, the EMA, which also above this high here. More importantly, or you could always close the short if you didn't want to set a hard stop loss. Always close it on a full claim of the daily levels that we've got here. The ones at specifically the one at this one here. So I'll post it here because I've got it up on another screen. This one here. So this was the one we set on the 10th of May. This is the daily from back then. If you really claimed this level, you could probably close your short. It had you have entered right there. But yeah, VWAP. Where was that at? It's pretty close to price action, if I think. Yeah, no. So that's that. It's not a bad take profit one actually, if that's how far away that is. If it holds, obviously, if you've taken the short and it holds. But yeah, CVR, I've actually not got anything else. I feel like we've actually smashed the live streams this week to a point where I don't have stuff to say.
Yeah, we've been.
I'd love to go over the bottom again, but we did it in this morning's stream for you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just do it one more time. Let's go for it. So I liked it. I liked it on the 1 minute because I watched the volume chart. We'll release that source soon. I think June the 5th is probably when I'll release it. But yeah, looking at the 1 minute chart is pretty much the same source. Let's go find the low. Here it is. So you can see how, if you're watching the trades count, which I haven't put onto the leading crypto template, but to add that, I did go over it yesterday, but if you want to add it, okay, go to the footprint bar statistics, click the cog here. You can add a row. So add a row and then row type and click trades. And then you've got the trades count and you can change the color gradient, all of that good stuff there. But I only need the one. And you can see, so how you use this is you look for the extremes for where there's a huge amount of, trades taking place and volume, they line up. You don't need these, but it's just another little heads up of what's occurring. If you're getting a huge amount of volume, huge amount of trades taking place, this is the 1 minute chart, and you're getting 13 million, 11 million, 13 million, 20 million, 24, 19 million, huge amount, absolutely crazy. But yeah, how could one have entered a trade? Again, I'm sorry for the guys that watched the stream yesterday, but repetition is always good because it helps with pattern recognition when you're looking out for this stuff live. So coming down super heavy, absolute, you're flying down into that, the gap that we had. Are you hitting the 0.5 that Magic gave us in the members stream? When you're hitting the 0.5 that has been destined from Magic, they're normally good, especially when you get a reaction like this. This is the reaction you want from a level, okay? So Magic gave us it, and then you get a bounce up. You've got huge buying imbalances, 1.7 there. We'll ignore that one. But yeah, you've got buying imbalances going up. Huge positive delta when that candle closes and increasing open interest. Buyers have come into the market. They've seen the reaction and they're happy with it, because on other reactions, they've not been happy with it. Why? Because there's been no follow through. It's been completely forced back down straight away. Every time that anyone has longed, before. Look here, so 16 million here. Granted, open interest is somewhat negative, but they've definitely longed up here and immediately been pushed back down. Do we get a push back down in the next candle? You get a wick, but overall, it's a very, very strong move from that level. You get the delta switch up, which is another thing that we like to see. You've got really negative delta coming in. Then suddenly you get a huge amount of positive delta, minimal shorts, minimal negative delta there. And then it starts to go positive and it builds from there. You can enter a trade in these candles here and you'd be a very, very, very happy person. You've seen the delta switch up, you've seen the volume dry up a little bit and then start to build again in the move up. What more of a reaction do you want to see from such a key level on the chart? I recommend to all of the guys in the group that have been following along with my messages recently about journaling. I really think that everyone should be going through what occurred at this time. If you're awake, what emotions you were feeling, journal it. You really have to conquer your emotions, because it's only when you're not panicking, not losing your mind, really, that that then you can act on what you see in the charts. Okay, I'm going to give you an example here, a little insight to where I learned. I learned about that this is a good idea. Way back here, when this occurred, I was in no trade. I was just sat in spot Bitcoin. Terrible move. It moved from 40K to 30K to 40K to 30K. That was an absolute emotional roller coaster. I remember putting in the group to Magic, like, this is so traumatic. I'm just seeing my money go up and down and up and down and up and down. It was a stressful time. But it's only when I looked at what occurred there, really broke it down in every way possible that I could, that I learned from it. What was my emotions during this period? Where could I have entered a trade? Where could I have seen what was going on? It's only when you do that and you look back in the charts at these key days, these such important days, that we will look back at this day. If this is the reversal for the next few weeks, it's only if you really look at it and dissect what actually happened on the day that you're actually going to take anything away from it. If you're in a trade, you'll take some money away from it, but you have to turn everything into a lesson. Otherwise, the people that are, you're going to lose out eventually by the people that are turning get all of this into a lesson. If they're journaling and about key timings like this, they're going to be in the trades before you. Why? Because they've learned from it. So it's you have to learn from what we're going through here in the charts. It's so important that you do so. I know it's boring to journal. It really is. But it's only when you do so that you learn. And yeah, I hope you are all learning and journaling, because it really is the only way that you can take it in. And then you have to go back through your journal at the end of the week. You can't write it in once and think, okay, Max says journal and I've learned. No, you've got to go back over it. You've got to go back and review it at the end of the week. I put a validation line on a chart that I posted. Is it correct? T-Bone, let me have a browse. So
there you go.
To the thing. So T-Bone said in the group, bearish invalidation 2809. Is that the invalidation line? When do you confirm the high? So let's have a browse. So the divergence that we were trading was, let's get off the 1 minute chart, let's go on to the 5 minute. The divergence that we were trading was from back here. It was this high that you were trading it from, okay? So where would be your imbalance line? Well, what did you put? Sorry. You said it was 29809. I think you pretty much got it. Are you on the USDT chart? No, you're on the USD chart. Okay. It's a little bit above that. So the way to get it exactly is if you get your candle, so you can see where my crosshair is, hover over the candle, you can see in the top left up here, I bounced from it, so it changed. You can see the high for the exact candle. So you can then move your line to the exact high. So we know that it was in the top, it says, I keep moving my candle, and my mouse and it changes. We know it was 29846. You were pretty much bang on with it. But yeah, that was the invalidation line for, because what is CVD? You're looking at where you're looking at the amount of longs that have entered relative to the amount of longs that have entered here to see that if the longs are doing a good job or bad job of pushing it higher, or sorry, you're looking at if there's a lot of people holding the price down with their shorts, the absorption taking place, because the shorts are sat there in limit. On the other end of every single trade that one takes is someone else. It's the game that we play, being in the futures markets, like I think it's no sum game, no win. Don't know what it is. It's too early in the morning. But yeah, there's someone for to be a winner, there has to be a loser. So at the end of every trade that you take, there's someone else. Okay, really weird. Well, it's not very weird. That is the way that the market works. So when people are market buying here, if someone's sat here with a limit, the delta keeps going up because it sees that there's loads of market buys coming in. But if we are not taking these highs, it's a very weak rise. If you then cut, it's not a weak rise, it's a very strong rise, which is getting held down by a bigger position potentially, thinking we're going or trying to push the price lower. It has to be when is the best time to confirm the high? Let's do this thing so everyone can see. There we go. When is the best time to confirm the high? Well, the best time, it's difficult to confirm a high until it's really played out. So the way that I, again, would trade this divergence has been confirmed is when you put the longs that have created it. So you have to look into the footprint and look for increases in open interest and very positive delta. Or you can just zoom in. You can just zoom in. If you want to read the numbers, you've got it here. You've got like 3 million there, 1.9 million there, 1.2 million there. And that candle ended with a positive 5.9 million delta. You can see when that candle took place here, you got a big rise in the CVD line. It's rised considerably there. And for the next few candles it did. So where can we deem that, it's been confirmed again, when you put them underwater, when you lose, you had the support here, but when you start to put them underwater, that's when you can say, okay, the divergence is now confirmed. You can take your trade here. Stop loss still goes back above this high from back here. That's the way that you trade a divergence. It goes from the previous high. But yes, if you want to trade the absorption, here would be the trade. And then, difficult one with the daily open there. However, you got to think, where have these longs that have entered here put their stop loss? Where would you put your stop loss if you entered up here? Okay, I can actually hide your thing now. But yeah, where would you put your stop loss if you've entered here? Some would put it there. Some would put it here. I doubt many people would put it down here, to be honest with you. Yeah, I reckon they'd be playing the more local lows. But, you'd have to see. You'd have to see what happened in the time. Do them longs, do you get a really sharp drop in the open interest as them people that have entered here long get taken out? So yeah, that's the best way to confirm when the longs start to be put underwater. Danny says there was an absorption below that was trying to push price up. So is it invalidated the earlier bear div? Yeah, now this bear div that we've had, this bearish divergence, has been invalidated. Why? Because we've taken the high. So what we can deem is that the CVD was leading. Yeah, it's been invalidated, the bearish divergence. I think that's what you're on about, to be honest with you, but not 100% sure. I hope that answered your question, T-Bone, on how you'd get the high, what the high was, where the invalidation point was. You got that pretty much bang on in your little thing here. And I like that you're using the CVD overlay. It's always very fun to trade when you've got that up. CVO.
Nice update, sir. Always like the words of wisdom from Max. I'm not going to take up too much time here, but we got some updates in the group. A lot of the altcoins obviously got beaten down, and Bitcoin, if we're going to catch a bounce right here, obviously the whole market's going to get a bounce. Did want to bring up Bitcoin dominance as obviously as this chart does run higher, the altcoins tend to get hit. When this starts retracing, the altcoins do pretty well. So for this, like pretty much this macro range for the dominance chart, this is from May of last year. We're coming into that range high area. So possible to come down and like maybe just retag this 12-month or even come back down to the point of control. We are getting oversold on our side if anybody's looking at that. And yeah, just something to kind of keep in mind there. Obviously, we start breaking this range to the upside. We got some higher levels coming in. What the heck? Some bullet shots outside my window. They're coming for you, Max. But yeah, so dominance, might see a pullback here, which would obviously translate well for the altcoins short term here. So I think we could all use a nice relief rally to some degree if we get one. For ETH here, I've kind of cleaned this chart up a little bit, right? So similar to what Magic's been saying as well, right? Like we're coming into these macro areas that we've been paying attention for. Is there the risk of going lower? Obviously, there always is, and we have the invalidations for that. But you can't necessarily just anticipate only dropping down to 20K or below or whatever the case may be for BTC. ETH did come down to a nice. I think actually Magic has it as the macro range low here that he was looking for. I pulled it up as the Q2 of last year. Either way, this was an area that I was looking for next. We do have the the yearly S1 below that, and that's kind of a little doomsday-ish, assuming that Bitcoin does continue lower. But for now, I'd be looking up. We got a couple of levels here I took out. Just realistically, I want to get back above this 6-month level, which is about 10% move, which I would imagine we'll get out of the whole market if Bitcoin does punch higher here, right? So that would be the upside idea to watch right now. And then obviously we reclaim this range, and then we'd be looking higher from there. You can see how we perfectly dropped out of it, got the double back test here on a daily time frame. Obviously shot us lower. So short term, I'd really be looking at that resistance coming into this 6-month level if we get it. And otherwise, come back down, fill this wick out a bit, see how Bitcoin's reacting at the time. If this is one of those, if Bitcoin gets rejected right here, pulls it back to that daily pivot, because we did hit the daily pivot for ETH and a couple of altcoins. Right, so ETH's daily pivot was down here about 1974, so that's already been struck. I think Bitcoin's is down like 28K if we were just looking at that. So if we do get a revisit down there with that PVA candle, I would imagine we'd probably run it back towards this range low for ETH at that point. So still pretty much just kind of ranging around in this region. Looking to reclaim, back up in these higher levels just to kind of continue up from there. Luna's done 100%, huh? That's crazy. Pulled it off of TradingView even. Mana, just kind of taking a look at there, right? Obviously we punched a little lower than we were looking for here. Possibly getting a rejection at that area too. Could go a little lower. We got Matic coming into some major areas as well. This general region, basically below this S1, we got the daily coming in here at like 44 cents. Obviously, that'd be a little bit more of a doomsday scenario. So same deal as Ethereum and anything else right now. I really want to see this get back above this this daily level to start off with. It's about 68 cents coming above this last daily down here. So if you get above that, start looking up a little bit from there. And the old Cardano, just because it's an easy one to just kind of peruse over. Obviously, Ethereum is going to lead the way. The rest of the market's going to follow, right? So depending on how the two of those kind of go through in the next few days, but just coming down and getting these two levels. This is the two I was looking for ADA. As far as a macro, if you're going to scoop it up kind of idea, losing that monthly obviously wouldn't be too good. That really would have to imagine that the whole market just completely melts to see that lower area. That's like another 50% drop. So for now, yeah, I'd still be looking and paying attention for this weekly and monthly. These ranges down to like 34 cents for Cardano. But you can see where we are on the chart, right? We basically came back down to these two areas, I guess you could say. That's pretty much all I got, right? So I'm thinking, if we get some fireworks in the market, we can, put up some more moves here. Right now, it's definitely still been kind of, waiting for these things to hit these macro lows. Strategizing on what you want to do, picking up for your long-term bag. The leverage trading is unless you were short, right? From a couple of these areas up here. Obviously, this is a dangerous time to be trying to throw in leverage, especially on altcoins, to get a little bit more confirmation. But spot trades, even so some of these have a long. I mean, even Cardano just to punch back up to this 3-month level. That's a 37% move, just to come back up here and see if we get rejected. So that's not a bad move. Short term here, get above that. This is the one we want to get back above here. At 72 cents. And pretty much all I got. Like I said, we went through a bunch. Crow ended up coming down. Right now is actually below. I'm looking at this previous range here. So this yearly S1 is actually the point of control. So really want to see how this plays out here because you get the rejection right there. Obviously, you risk the rotation all the way down to the range low down here. So right now we're running into resistance right here. You really want to flip that for Crow. And then we'd be looking up, but at the moment, do anticipate a possible full rotation there down to the range low, about 13 cents. All right, that's about all I got. Magic, did you mentioned your 28K low? Did you want to touch on that or not before we finish up? And I don't see any questions.
No, I'd be all right. It got covered this morning, and I put it in the chat, so anyone that wants that level, they can put it on their chart. You're just taking out the low of last year from the summer lows, that consolidation, right? So that's what you should be watching is that, because if you take out the consolidation from June and July of 2021 and flip that into resistance, well, you got problems, so I would just watch that low, see if you can flip that, swing fail it, and then up you go. Otherwise, down you go, quite simple.
I like it.
Way to put it.
I like it. Awesome. Well, nice, perfect hour on the dot. I hope you all enjoyed this brief little update here. We'll have obviously some more for the group. We'll have another morning live stream tomorrow around 9:30. And until next time, everybody, have a nice night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Cheers.